Good afternoon, and my name is Shirley Qian. I'm a senior planner at Capital Corridor Joint Powers Authority, which is an intercity passenger rail service in Northern California. And I'm here today to talk about the connected customer experience from an operator perspective. So first of all, I want to introduce the Capital Corridor to everyone who is listening and watching. The Capital Corridor is a 170-mile long service stretching from the greater Sacramento area in Northern California to the Silicon Valley. And we consider ourselves the transit backbone in Northern California because we're the only service that really connects the whole entire mega region through one ride. And we are the third busiest route in the Amtrak system. Last year, we had 1.8 million riders. And the Capital Corridor is one of 3 California state-supported intercity passenger rail service operated by Amtrak, meaning a lot of the funding from our service comes from the state in addition to ticket fares. And it's operated by Amtrak, so oftentimes people will just know us as Amtrak. Yeah. And the vision for the customer experience that we have is we want every touch point of our interactions to deliver based on a brand promise. And our brand, you can think of as the rail version of Southwest. Friendly, transparent. We want to build trust with our customers, and every experience that they have with when they ride our system or when they plan the trip with us should deliver on that brand promise. And we always strive to collect feedback and data from our customers because that's how we believe we will improve our service and anticipate their needs for future innovations. So when we think about the customer journey, there's really 4 phases to it. First is when they're starting to plan their trip. How do I get there? What's the route? Do I need to make a reservation? And then there's the fare payment transaction phase. Do I need to pay for the ticket ahead of time? Is it cash only? Is it a credit card? Can I buy it on mobile? And then they get to the station and begin their journey. Where is the train at right now? How long should I expect to wait? Do I need to transfer? Where is that transfer point? And on the journey itself, when do I need to get off? When is the arrival time? And then there's the post-journey phase, which is can I provide feedback about my trip? And if I left something on the train, how do I get it back? And if they have ideas about how to improve the service, that's something that we'd like to hear as well. So the cycle repeats, and we hope that people have an enjoyable experience so that they come back to us. So the presentation that I have today really covers multiple aspects of these 4 phases of the journey and how Capital Corridor has used technology to improve all of these phases. So the first phase is, of course, the trip planning, and then directly afterwards, the fare payment. Passengers get to our stations in multiple ways, and we have to think about how to capture all of those. So the first thing that I want to mention is that Capital Corridor is one of a consortium of agencies that is actually working with the California State Transportation Agency to implement a statewide integrated mobility program across the state. And what this intends to do is to use open standards to create a seamless, integrated, coordinated and safe mobility network using market-based solutions. And there's 3 basic modules that we can think of as part of this program. The first is the trip planning. How do we use a standard such as GTFS to collect transit information, transit trip and route information across all of the state, and present that in a unified format to travelers within California, so that they don't have to go to different apps or different websites, different sources to get the information. That really helps people plan a whole trip instead of just segments of the trip. And by presenting all of that information in one place, we think that, that the whole trip planning will encourage more transit use instead of just the easy go-to, let's get in a car from A to B. And then the second module is payments. Right now, of course, as many of you know, when you take a transit trip, a lot of times you have to think about, oh, do I need this card, or do I need to pay for the ticket in another way? The fare payment systems are oftentimes very siloed within agencies. And so as part of the California Integrated Travel Project, using standards for payment on the back end to help customers pay for their trips just with with a very easy card, whether that's contactless credit cards or another form of transit card that covers multiple agencies, or just simply in an app. We want the customer to not have to figure out, how do I pay for this fare? It's just an easy process that doesn't require buying extra things, such as an extra card. And the third module is eligibility. Of course, we all know that we're trying to cover the entire public, and there are going to be special cases for whether that's young children or elderly fares, student fares, military fares, and we want those discounts to apply to those who qualify. And we're thinking about using statewide databases that will automatically query for these qualifying discounts. So when customers buy their ticket, those discounts are automatically applied to their fares. They don't have to enter anything. It's just everything is done on the back end. So this is the vision that Capital Corridor have for how we think about traveling our customers and how they can plan their trip and pay for their trips in the future. So right now, in the intermediary stage, while all the modules are being worked out, we are supporting a procurement process that is in development for a mobile ticketing app that can be updated as all of those modules are being developed. And what this does is the procurement is specifically designed to allow scaling up of additional transit partners, whether that's heavy rail, light rail, or bus, to join in the procurement and this mobile ticketing app in the future, so that we're really building up a rich database, a rich offering of different transit services for the California customer to use. And right now, of course, everybody has a smartphone, and we are seeing that once we've offered ticketing, which is e-ticketing, which is through Amtrak, that 77% of our customers are already buying their tickets on the internet and mobile. So having the physical interaction with station agents is really reduced as more people are comfortable buying their tickets online. And the tagline is really just one place to plan trips and pay for fares. They don't have to download 3 different apps just to travel their whole trip, which may be on different modes, from bike share to rail to a bus. So now that we've talked about planning the trip and paying for the trip, during the journey, we also have some technology improvements. So before, this was probably 3 years ago, we were we were printing out schedules, train and bus schedules, connecting bus schedules for every schedule change that we made. And across 17, 18 different stations, just the effort of updating all of those stations with the latest train and bus schedules was a huge effort. But back then, maybe 10 years ago, people relied on these physical schedules to plan their trip. So that made sense. But now people have a smartphone with them all the time. So we're leveraging that. Instead of having individual customized schedules for every station along the way, we have an evergreen train and bus schedule that just includes a QR code that is customized by station because of different train times and bus connection times. But the schedules are updated more easily on the back end electronically on our website, takes them to our website, and it gives them the information on demand. And then we also have a simplified route line that just gives people an easy view into how the route looks and where they're going. So this really dramatically cut down on the time that we needed before to update our schedules at our physical stations. And that was done 2 times a year. That was a huge effort. But with technology and ways of thinking about how we can really meet the customer's needs while improving our efficiency, this was how we were thinking about it, and this is what we're doing now. And in the future, we're thinking about how we can really digitize the information that we're presenting in the form of digital platform signs. And this, I'm sure some of you have seen this before. It's an LCD or LED screen that is at the stations that can provide a very dynamic messaging visually and sometimes audibly. So this is what we're thinking about in the future if budget situations are improved. The other part of presenting information to passengers at the station is through passenger information displays. And these are the signs that provide the ETAs and other important service messages to the customers while they're at the station. You can see an example of one of our signs in the background on the upper left-hand corner. And our passenger information display system was first designed and implemented in 2002. And it was one of the first PID systems in the nation, I believe. So it combined visual as well as audio information messages. And in the meantime, between 2002 and now, we've had periodic hardware and software updates to the system, but it is reaching its end of life. Some of the signs are, some of the parts you can only find on eBay, and those parts are slowly disappearing. So we are now currently designing and planning for a complete modernization with new software and hardware that takes lessons from what we've learned in the past 18 years and implement those in a more modern software and hardware version, and really helps us improve our operations while also communicating necessary messages to our customers. And when our customers get on board, we want to be able to engage them as well. We offer onboard Wi-Fi aboard all of our trains, and this was first implemented in 2011. And right now, similar situation with PIDs is that the software and the hardware are getting old, and it's really time for a refresh. So the update that we are currently upgrading the onboard Wi-Fi system to improve the bandwidth as well as integrate passenger information and onboard entertainment as well. So yeah, as I was saying, Wi-Fi is very important to our customers, and it's one of the primary reasons that we are so focused on it. It attracts riders and it engages them through through the entire trip. For 3 hours, you can be productive. You can read an article, a newspaper article, or you can watch some videos. We're still thinking about all the ways that we can provide onboard entertainment, but those are just some of the thoughts. So that is onboard Wi-Fi. And one important thing that I want to mention about both PIDs and Wi-Fi is that the technology procurement that we conducted for both of these technologies is a little bit different than what the traditional public procurement model looks like. What we've designed the procurement to be is more of a service delivery model. And what this means is that we are maintaining we're not just buying a certain product from the vendor. Instead, we are working with the vendor during a longer period of time to really make sure that the solution works for us. And three important features of the service model delivery is that we've built in flexibility of the cost intensities over time to match different budget situations. So, for example, just a year ago, operating budgets might have been very healthy, and so we can build while capital grant funding may not have been as rich. So what we can do is spread out the cost for a certain technology delivery over time to amortize this cost over time. But in a situation such as now, where operating budgets might be really, really tight, while there might be some special capital funding that may be coming in, we can cut that amortization cost down to a year, to 6 months, whatever fits the funding situation. So building in that flexibility over a period of time, of course, working with the vendor to make sure that the finances work out, but that really helps the public agency to be more flexible, and it really helps them plan for different budget situations as they come up. And the second core feature of the service delivery model is maintaining the quality of the technology during the time of the contract. We've learned our lesson from previous Wi-Fi and PIDs procurements that if you just build in the system but don't maintain it or update it, it's just going to lapse into states of degradation, and then you're going to have to replace it. You have to spend a lot of energy to replace them or update them down the line. So maybe the better way is to maintain the quality of the technology over time. So which means, scheduling regular times where you check in with the vendor and the technology situation to see if there's newer updates or upgrades, minor upgrades that you can make to the system to make sure that it's still up to date in terms of technology, and not have to spend a whole nother effort down the line to really refresh it. So this is a benefit for both, for everybody, I think, for the customer especially, because they get to enjoy the most up-to-date technology for Wi-Fi and PIDs. And then I think the third one is not particularly customer focused, but maintaining a multi-year relationship between the provider and the agency. It's that relationship building that really builds the trust. And when you're in a long-term contract, you really work together much more closely to make sure that the service is working, and you get the chance to really have that feedback along the way to deliver a solution that works for the agency and customer. So this is just how we're thinking about it, and especially in technology, keeping it up to date is really one of the hardest to do in public agency procurements, because usually we just do it one at a time. But this is changing the dynamic, changing the traditional way of doing procurement is a little tough. Of course, everybody has to be on board with this, but procurement can be flexible, contrary to what most people think. So thinking more creatively about how you procure certain things for public transit systems is definitely worth the time. Okay, and then the customer touch points throughout the journey. So all throughout this journey, the customer wants to be kept in the loop, updated on what's going on. If there's some disruption going on, they want to know what's going on. So at Capital Corridor, we have a myriad of ways that we keep the customer engaged and updated, and it really depends on the customer to choose, whatever method works for them. So our operator, Amtrak, they have their own touch points, and our own automated touch points include the PIDs at the stations, and our Capital Corridor train status information that is provided through our website, third-party apps, and two-way text messaging. And then there's some of our more staff controlled touch points, which include the call center that receives calls, and our social media via Twitter. That's, we keep people updated that way as well. And one particular thing, one particular touch point that I want to highlight is the call center. So the call center is during the day, staffed by physical people who answer calls and answer questions, but that labor cost is very expensive. So, and we can't pay for 24/7 call center. So how do we handle those early morning, late evening calls when people still are riding the trains, but they just need to call somebody or get information in that way. So how we've been addressing this gap is through interactive voice response, or IVR. And IVR is a cloud-based software platform that is used to interact with callers using voice commands and text-to-speech. So it's that press 1 for da-da-da and press 2 for da-da-da. And I think the most innovative part about IVR that we've implemented is how it provides the information that we already have to our customers without ever needing, without much interaction between the staff and that information. So we already have our schedule that is available on the website, and our IVR can just read that schedule information to the caller without needing to do anything else. And it actually reads FAQs that we have on the website to the caller, so that they, it's the same information on the website. It's just text to speech delivered to the caller, and it also transcribes customer comments, so that we get that notification about, oh, somebody left a voicemail, but it's already transcribed, and we can respond to them in that way. And we've built up a very rich database of questions that people have asked and the answers that we've provided. And that enrichment of databases, it just helps that IVR system respond to questions better over time. So in summary, so those are just some of the things that we are doing to improve all the touch points that we have with our customer. In summary, for trip planning and fare payment, we are working with the state of California to standardize trip information and fare payment methods and offer a seamless user experience for integrated mobility. This expands the ridership market for Capital Corridor, because people who may not know about Capital Corridor may find out about it through planning a journey. And also it lets existing customers know how else they can get to their ultimate destination. It really puts all of that available opportunities to the customer so that they know their options, and it helps them pay for it easily. And then the second journey experience. We are definitely focusing on how to reduce the costs through digitization. So that's the bus and schedule information. And then provide on-demand information. So that's, people can just use their smartphones to capture a QR code to go to our website to find out whatever information they need. And also, we're trying to anticipate customer needs through the offerings that we have on the Wi-Fi, as well as all the different messages that we want to provide to customers as they're on the journey. And then the technology procurement part, really thinking differently about how we procure technology, especially because technology is an ever-changing thing. So how do we keep updated? And our response was the service model delivery that keeps the funding or the budget and payment type flexible while keeping the technology updated. And then lastly, leveraging technology to improve all of the customer touch points. There's so much going on now in the world of online different startups that offer different services. So being flexible about what we provide and provide multiple channels of communication, because there's a lot of options out there, and some people are more comfortable with one or the other. But our customer base is very ranged. There's the very technology savvy to the elderly who may not be as comfortable. So we want to provide all of the ranges of options for our passengers to reach out. And that's how we learn and improve our service. So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for your time.